Every high and crushing low taught me something invaluable: resilience. I began documenting my journey, recording every lesson and every step towards rebuilding my success and my mental, even if no one else was watching. I didn't know where this path would lead, but I had Frank, Rosario, and the memories of everything I built and lost, fueling my determination. What you're about to see is my journey, the highs, the lows, and every moment in between, captured during a time when I was all alone, but never defeated. I'm going to get back to being a millionaire. No matter what, I will make it.
How's it going, guys? I just wanted to do a quick video. So today it is Friday, September 27th, and of 2024, obviously. Just a couple of things. I don't know when the last time I did my video was. Bitcoin is currently at, I don't know if there's a way. Bitcoin is currently at like 6,550 something, somewhere around there. And Ethereum's, I don't know the price right now. I'm still trying to work on getting a second phone, so I'm still waiting for like a couple more paychecks from now. So I think maybe 1 or 2 more videos, and then I should have a second phone. I'll be able to kind of overlay the same stuff I used to before. So what's new with me and what's going on? So for the last, I want to say, and there might be a beep or something, or like a pause or something that I might have because I'm doing like Spark on my days off, which is Walmart delivery. I'll get more into that in a second. A couple things that I'll note is, I'll start with work. Work has been busy. iPhone launch just happened not too long ago, about a week ago, and literally one of our coworkers basically left at the same time. So literally, I've had just a week of hell, almost a week and a half, 2 weeks, somewhere around there. So 1 to 2 weeks of just nonstop, just hell. My back took a little bit longer to heal. I think today's like one of the first days that it hasn't really been a problem. However, this is from my bone marrow thing. I told you guys before that lifting and doing all that heavy lifting and stuff the days after, however, probably delayed some of the healing process. So it literally took like double the time. Usually I heal pretty decently after like a week or so. There's some soreness, but it's not really that bad. But this time around, yeah, it's been about, I want to say about 2 to 3 weeks now. And yeah, I just now started to feel a little bit better. Yesterday I had some small tingling, but now I think it's a little bit better. So hopefully that heals up within the next week again, and then hopefully next month I'll go ahead and do another donation, but this time no heavy lifting, no anything. So work has been decent. I've got my commission last time for my I got commission not too long ago, and that was like maybe $100 or whatever, so it's something. It's not a lot right now because next month's gonna be my big month, but it's not a lot. Also, with the iPhone launch, it wasn't really as great as I thought it would be as far as commission wise. I mean, you're doing longer hours, I guess, but as far as your metrics and stuff like that, it's pretty crap. So didn't really do much for my metrics, to say the least. It's kind of, I feel like there's a lot of things that still need to be worked on as far as like the commission-based system for this company. But overall, there's not much I can really do or say in this matter. I'm just kind of like eating it for the next 3 to 4 months, and just gonna wait it out, see what I can do. You know, as long as I can just do my job and make over, you know, what I need to and save every month, then I'll be happy. Like, at the end of the day, that's really all I need to really focus on. Save money, make sure I have enough for rent, make sure that I have enough over everything else, and just save enough money so that way by the time it comes to be like, okay, I have enough in the bank to basically quit the job and basically move to a new job, I'll be good for the next like month in my transition period. All I'm basically making sure I have good is my transition period money, so that way I'm not without pay, you know, as I transition to a new job. and hopefully just a better paying job. So that's going to be the goal, probably around December or January. So still some months away. But like I said, I'm planning ahead. I have to plan all this stuff ahead of time, or else I like that. It's not good not to plan this far out ahead. You need to plan at least 4 to 5, 6 months out. So that's hopefully what I'm going to be doing. I also know that in either January or February, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's like a week treatment, and it gives you like 2K. So I want to try to do that. It's mobilized white blood cells. Essentially, they pump your body full of white blood cells, and then you go in and they basically do some more injections every like couple of days or so for 6 days straight. And then the last 2 days, you basically go in for like 4 hours at a time, and they basically extract those white blood cells. And then you make like 2,000 to 2,500, somewhere around there. And for 1 week's pay, I mean, that's really good. That's like a whole month's pay almost in 1 week. So I think it's worth the sacrifice, and then I can use my sick days or something like that for that period, which wouldn't be too bad. So I'm thinking about that. The only downside to that is that more than likely it's going to terminate any kind of vacation that I might want to do, but at that time I might be in transition already anyways. So it gives me a good point to basically lift off from there to where I can go on a trip and then come back and then look for a job, that sort of thing. That's the goal. Basically be good for like a month or two, and then basically in that time look for a job. The problem is I want to be searching for a job while I'm doing that, and basically already be in like an interview process, so that way when I go on my trip goes, and then like right when I come back, then I have my new job. Like, you have to be able to like put your mind, and like if you're really good with scheduling, I think these type of things will come natural to you, and you can kind of schedule everything really, really nicely. If you could schedule really well, I think it's really hard to really fuck up, you know what I mean? So just scheduling far ahead, that's the whole goal right now. I'm budgeting, like for example, this month I just paid half of my rent, and I'm waiting for my next paycheck. Already got all that stuff scheduled out. I know pretty much how much I'm going to make and what I need to make over that for my car bill and all this other stuff. And I know that later next month I'll have enough money to go ahead and pay whatever else I need to pay. So yeah, so next month's gonna be a really good month. But yeah, I'm just basically making sure that I have everything lined up, and trying my hardest to do good to make a good commission check. But so far it's kind of been, you know, a dump. I've only had 3 commission checks, and only one of them has been over $1,000. Actually, it was $2,000, the best commission check I ever had. But that was also a month where it was like it was just slow. But I mean, I like slower times are really nice, because you kind of get the people that come in, they're very like, they want you. When it's slow, you kind of get those people that only want certain things. Like, they're only going to go in the store for a certain thing, you know? Right now, when you have people that don't really know what they want, or they know what they want, but they're being very cheap about it. For example, like iPhone upgrades, it doesn't pay you anything, and it's like, it wastes a lot of your time, you know? So basically, it's not as efficient, because the people that do come in for the other stuff, well, you're helping, you know, so and so many people with the upgrade. You know, somebody comes in with just a VGA, which in this case is like just a like add-a-line. There's that potential for a VGA or like a add-a-line or a internet or something that's going to pay way more, essentially, that could come in, and you kind of lose that. So it's basically just luck of the draw at that point when there's a lot of people. When there's a little bit amount of people, it's just whoever's at the door first. But essentially, like, those type of people are more likely to be like somebody who just, you know, who's more likely going to get a service that pays a lot more. So yeah, it's just kind of shitty that, you know, this month is probably not going to do anything, even though it's like a launch month. So it's like, okay, you worked all this, but you're still going to just get paid base pay. That's crazy. So hopefully the commission structure changes. Otherwise, like I said, 4 months from now, it's going to be probably one of my my quickest jobs turnarounds that have actually been like an actual employment job. Like I did the little experiment with the outside sales job, the one for Verizon Internet. But like I said, that was different because that was like, it wasn't even really like a W-2. Like I didn't sign really any papers or anything. I just kind of like went in there and it's like, okay, here, do this. So this was way different. This would be my first job that I basically just turn over after like 4 months. It just really isn't as appetizing. But the cool thing is my boy got hired at a different location with a different provider, and if things go well for him, he said he'll hire me on, which is cool. And really it's just all phones there, so I don't really have to worry about internet or all this other stuff. I think the more metrics you really have to worry about, the uglier the structure of things kind of get, and I don't really like that. So we'll see what happens 3 to 4 months from now, which, you know. So aside from that, what else am I doing? At the moment I had to kind of take a break from my manga. Not really a break, but you know, for the last 2 weeks I've been not only feeling, you know, not that as great as I should. It's been hot as hell. It's been busy as hell. So every time I come home and I want to go ahead and have the motivation to write, I can't do it because I have writer's block. I really have to be in the mode. If I'm not in the mode, I'm not going to write because it just doesn't make any sense. So I really do try to, like, same thing with animation. Like I only do all that stuff. My creative side only comes in when I'm like less stressed and like I'm in the mode, like I'm in the zone. And sometimes it never happens. Sometimes it does. And it's very rare that it happens nowadays just because of probably all the stress that I've been in. So really I'm just trying to tune down my stress so that way I can get back into the mode, the creative mode. And so one thing that's been helping me do that is, like I said, planning. Definitely relieves a lot of stress. Next month is going to be nice because then I will have a lot less stress because next month, by the way, for my rent is the last month, or, you know, it's the second month pretty much, but it's the last month that I have to basically pay the deposit. Because what I did with my deposit is I basically made a deal with my landlord saying, hey, I can't pay the full deposit because then I would have had to put down almost like $4K for whatever reason. I can't do the full deposit, but if you'll let me, I'd love to go ahead and just split that deposit into 2 payments over the first 2 months. That way it's easier for me to go ahead and move in, since the moving costs, I had to pay like $300 to move as well. Since that was really expensive just to kind of get all that stuff moved and, you know, figured out and stuff. Go ahead and, if you can, I want to try to go ahead and do that, so that way I can move in and then everything's good. So once I pay this like $2,200 or so, then I'll be back down to $1,700 a month for rent, and that's gonna be nice because then I actually make money each month. Lately it's basically just been up to the brim between that and my car payment. My car payment's like $250, and then rent so far has been roughly around $2,200. So paying $2,200 and $250 just hasn't, it's literally been like right here to neck level of like my financials right now. And so by basically reducing that $500 I've been paying or so, it's really nice, because then it basically just alleviates everything. So once that gets paid, then that means November is going to be really nice for that. And then, like I said, I'll be saving at least $500 every single month. And then you add commission on top of that, and we're looking really nice. So hopefully things go well in the future after this month. Really, I've been kind of cutting down any kind of expenses as of this month, just to make sure that I make sure 100. That's why I paid rent, or half of my rent, early, because I can't take any chances having this be like a really bad, like, oh, he can't pay second month of rent. Well, this is going to be an issue. I don't want to. First and second impressions are really big for landlords, because it gives them an impression. Okay, how are you with communication? I'm great. How are you with paying on time? I'm great. But, you know, I don't want that to be like a issue. You know, I want them to know that, hey, if need be, I can go ahead and just pay it and make sure that it's consistent. So by doing this, it's been one of those things where it's like, I just want to make sure that everything's good and set, and I don't want any confusion about, oh, I can't go out this night, or I spent too much on food, or I spent too much on gas. Like, having all this stuff planned out, like I said, will save your ass. So, yeah. So that's going to be nice. I talked about my stuff. Render has been really cool, by the way. I told you guys I get paid through Render every single week, because my computers basically render frames on the Render network, which is cool. And I basically every week get some money for my computers, just basically doing that stuff. They're on 24/7, but they're not rendering 24/7, not yet at least, which is great. Maybe 6% of the day, so that means for like what? Like 4 hours of the entire day is the only time that they're really like on doing stuff. So that being said, my render payments have gone up, which is nice because the market's obviously up. So it used to be about $60 roughly every single week for the last month or so, and yesterday was kind of a surprise. I got like $105 or $6 or whatever yesterday. So that would be nice. I think I'm back to a $400 month instead of $240. So big difference, like depending on how the price of render goes up, like it really does make a big difference, because also I notice when the price is decently up too, more people render. So I don't know how that works, because that doesn't make any kind of math sense to me, but yeah, I think it's because people have more money to, or like companies and people have more money to spend, so they'll go ahead and render more. I have no clue how it kind of adds out, but it's just been nice to get a little bit more money, because that's $40 extra each week that can pay for gas or pay for whatever. So I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't have render, I would be in a really shit position. So I'm actually super happy that I made the choice when I was wealthy to go ahead and involve myself in render and the community and stuff like that, because they not only has it been like pretty helpful to just have like a little small community. Like, we don't talk all the time or anything like that, but we have like a little forum chat thing, and when things happen or whatever, the community comes through, or if there's ideas or people feel like they're not paid enough, we try to like speak out, even though our voices aren't as heard. So it's just been nice to kind of have a smallish community and basically like talk things out and stuff like that. So that's been cool. Another thing is I have some reserve crypto left over, some like $200, $300 or whatever in my itty bitty kitty token. I don't know if it's gonna go off. I have no clue. You know, at this point, it's really just kind of like in meme tokens right now. I might have to use it for rent. I have no clue, because I'm going to a little party festival or something tomorrow, and I might have to dip into those funds, but we'll see. I'm trying my hardest. So one thing that you guys have noticed, that you guys will always notice, that I'm like in crypto, then I'm out of crypto. I'm in crypto. I haven't actually been over to a point. Well, actually I was, and then I lost that stuff. I told you guys about that, the $2,000 or whatever I lost of my money, because I was just being a dumbass. And I won't ever do that again. I'm solely using only my render stuff as either I'm basically, what I do is like, if I need that render money for like stuff for the week, then I'll just take it out. You know, I'll just take it out, convert it to cash. But if I know that I can put it into like meme tokens or whatever, then I will. So sometimes I do lose that. I'm not gonna just sugarcoat it and say that I've basically been making $400 or $240 or whatever. I literally put a lot of that into meme tokens, and if they go down, they go up, it doesn't really matter to me. You know, because it's essentially free money to me, and if I need it, then it's not free money. Or if I need it, then it's basically cash that I actually use for my needs. So am I being a little stupid? Yes, but I mean, to be honest, crypto is just so, there's so much to gain off of these small stupid little things that I'm doing, that it, you know, I'll take that risk. It doesn't matter. Like, I assess most of the risks that I take to make sure that if there's just more gain involved, then I'll rather take the more gain unless I can't wait that long, if that makes sense. Like, time is always the essence of the trade here. You know, if I have to take for a loss, then I'll take for a loss. It doesn't really matter because it's money that I didn't actually have to like make myself. It's kind of just passive, right? It's working in the background. So with passive money, I feel like you have more leeway to do whatever the fuck you want with, rather than having to worry. Like, when I get paid for my job, like, I literally have to think about what I want to do with that. With the render stuff, I can thankfully, you know, put it in the back of my mind and say, I'll either hold it here or I'll transfer it here or do whatever I want with it. You know what I mean? So, no, I'm blessed that I'm actually part of this community. I really hope that render goes to like $100, so that way, that would basically be my passive income for forever. You know, I don't know if the devs for the foundation are gonna let us basically make, you know, hundreds of $1,000s, but I think that it's worth it for us because a lot of us, I think there's only about 500 to about 600 node renders or node operators all across, you know, the world or whatever. And I think that we deserve better. Like, we deserve better because we've been here for at least, I don't know how long I've been talking about this, but I think that I started out in 2020 or 2021. So I've been part of this community for about 3 to 4 years now. And I want to say 2020 because that's when I basically got rich. No, sorry, 2021. So that's late 2021 is when I got rich. So it's been at least 2.5 to 3 years for me, if not longer. But overall, like, you know, like I said, that was the smartest decision, and I really do hope that eventually that pays off really, really well to where I can make like $2,000 to $4,000 a month. I mean, that would be amazing. The other thing is I have a trip the end of October to go see my family finally after 3 years. That's gonna be cool. I haven't done that. I still have to ask my grandparents if it's going to be okay to go see them at the end of November. So that way I have 2 trips lined up. I'll have one at the end of October for a little tiny trip, like maybe 4 or 5 days. And then one at the end of November for maybe like 2 or 3 days to San Diego. And that would be all my trips for the end of for this year. Also, another update. I guess Frank somehow found a home, which is great. You know, I'm very, very happy about that. Don't know if he's making the smartest decisions on what he's doing for DirecTV and internet and all this other stuff, but we'll see. We'll check it out. We'll see what's going on. Yeah, but yeah, it's been interesting to see how everything's developed in the last month. I'm really happy because he's in Danville still, so and he's closer to his PO box and all this good stuff. So hopefully it really works out. Hopefully he can make those payments every single month. That's the only thing I worry for him about, because I don't know how everything's gonna go down. Apparently one of his debt collectors basically took out a lot of money from one of his accounts, and so I mean, I get the whole moving and everything like that, but this is the reason why I moved out, because everything's so fickle, and in any one moment, things from the past, which have always happened with him, unfortunately, keep coming back. Like, they keep coming back because of mistakes that he's made in the past. And yeah, I don't know how he's going to solve a lot of that. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated on Frank, because again, he's family. You know, I went over to see him during Rosario's birthday, September 19th, and things were, you know, it was my mom's birthday, Yuri's birthday, and Rosario's birthday. And no, he was super, super happy that I was there. Rosario was really happy. Jose was there. Everyone was really happy that I was there, and I really felt kind of special, because it's like, you know, no matter what, I know he was mad when I when I left, and was kind of appalled by it. But I think he knows that it was probably the best for me. I just couldn't handle dealing with his business stuff and just being there and being on call and not wanting to do things but still being kind of there. Like, it just detaches me, so that way there's no reliance. And I think that's the other thing too. It's like, I think in a lot of, and I think a lot of people have this kind of the same kind of thing, whether it's your mom, your dad, you're at your parents' home or wherever, and you're thinking about moving out. It's one of those things where you really have to kind of weigh the option of reliance, right? If they rely on you a lot, you feel like you're balancing 3 people's lives, 4 people's lives. You need to get out of there, because honestly, the stress will eat you up. And you might be able to do it. You might think that you're like, oh, okay, I'm some kind of wizard or whatever. I can handle all this stuff. But over time, that stuff will pressure you down. It weighs you down. I feel so much more relieved, so much more free in a sense. Like, I can do whatever I want. Before, I don't know if this was just me. I'm more of a homebody, so I don't know if anyone can relate to this. But when you are at home and you feel like you're around family and stuff, there are some things that you just don't do. I never used to raise my voice or go out late or come back late. Like, sometimes I would, but like, I wouldn't try to, I hate waking people up too. So like, I wouldn't generally do it because I wouldn't want to wake people up as well. I used to have a side entrance as well. So technically I used to pretty much always do that, use the side entrance if I were to go out. But I tended not to go out too late, because I'll say, my mindset was, if I was to go to a bar or something like that, I couldn't bring a chick home. So what's the whole point? You know what I mean? I can get a number, I can have fun, but at the end of the day, if it's in the moment, I'm not going to have enough money to basically do anything or go out or other stuff. And maybe that's just a money mindset, like, okay, you don't have enough money, but you could easily get a hotel, something like that. But obviously, why are you going out if you can't afford any of that stuff that is to happen after the fact? You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where it's like, maybe it was a money thing, but I think it also had to do something about my mindset of being there and being kind of locked down to family, that kind of put a lock on all the stuff that would happen, you know what I mean? But also I hated being micromanaged and stuff, and Frank's cool and everything like that, he's family, but at the same time, he has a way with words that kind of, even if you're family, like, he'll talk to you in such a way where he's trying to manipulate you sometimes. And that's no shade on him. I think it's basically just how he thinks, how he talks. But honestly, like, I can see through it. And when you can see through, like, the way somebody talks like that, and they still talk the same to you, whether you're family or not, there's something there. There's like, I think it's a thing, and so I just didn't like that. So that's another thing that's like, I'll distance myself from that, at least, because it's gotten way better. The fact that I'm not there has been much better, because then he doesn't talk to me really like that, you know what I mean? So might be a reliance thing, I have no clue. Like, I rely on you, so I'm going to make sure that you don't have anything that can go against me on this. I don't know. So this is a longer video, sorry. I have a lot of updates. So yeah, that, and then trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's the majority of everything. Things have been really chill at home. Like I said, I did my laundry not too while ago. My face is starting to clear up a little bit more. I just got hot water back on, because apparently our hot water wasn't working for a little bit. So hot water is back on. I've only taken about maybe 3 showers so far with the new water. I don't know if I said it last time, but basically I've been with well water all this time at the old place, and literally I would have all sorts of type of bumps. I don't know if I have it now. I'd have all sorts of type of like bumps and misshapen like spots on me and stuff. I think you can kind of still see it, like things like this, where my skin just looks really, really tragic. So I tend to not take off my shirt or anything like that because I just don't like, I'm very self-conscious of my body nowadays, and really mainly because of that. There used to be a time at Bruce, at the old place that we used to live at before that farm place, that had, I guess, filtered water. And this water that I was at for at the home I was at for about 2 years was unfiltered, apparently. So I'm guessing that I had some kind of like weird like bacterium or fungus or something that basically kind of like messed up my skin. And so I asked ChatGPT what the timing is and stuff of using clean water, and how long it would take to basically fix my skin. And it was saying at least 2 months. So I'm assuming that probably late October, my skin's going to be much, much better. You can already see that it's a lot clearer, and I don't use any I haven't been using any kind of like oils or anything that I used to use before. Sorry, not oils, but like lotion. I haven't really used anything right now because I kind of want to see the natural effect. Like, I'm starting to get like a lot more oily likeness into my skin again, whereas before it used to be like dry. And you can see that now it's like almost one color. It's not entirely there yet, but I've been noticing that was like the main thing I was trying to notice is like, why was my skin all patchy with like different colors and everything? And now you can see that like a majority of my skin now, aside from some of like the bumps and stuff like that, is kind of one skin again. It's going slowly back. And it's retaining its like coating again. I don't know how to say it, but so you guys should see that it's a lot better. The other thing is, I went back to the original first episodes. I don't know if I said this ever on this little series or whatever, of me actually watching the series back. I watched the first 3 episodes, like the first 3 like videos or whatever, and it's so crazy the mindset that I had back then. It's so crazy. And this is what I was talking about. This is why it's so wild that I made this series in the first place, because when I go back, I can literally tell, I'm like, oh, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Like, I was so bad at my mindset. It's so weird how my mindset has changed over the years. And like when I record myself and I talk, you'll see, if you were to compare me this video to my very first or second or third video, the first like 10 videos or so, my mindset is so different, and the way I talk is different as well. So I just think that's very interesting, and I think it also shows like the intellect and like the mentality that I've picked up over time. I'm way more cynical. 100% I am. I'm way more cynical than I used to be, just because of everything. And I think when you look at my first couple of episodes, I'm very optimistic. Even in situations that I shouldn't be optimistic, I'm very optimistic about everything. And slowly I turn into the darkness. So it's kind of wild to see that transition, like over all this time and stuff. I still gotta watch more, but it's so interesting. And they were very binge worthy too. I think these videos are very binge worthy, to say the least. So I think it would be so cool. So I did talk with a editor today, and I'm still talking with them about how maybe I want to approach going the first video. He's really good with the edits and stuff like that, so I'm trying to see if I can't make that first video and maybe future videos pretty entertaining, as far as just making sure that they're clear, and also they're understood pretty well. Also that I am speaking in such a tone that makes sense, and making sure that the date is up here, or you know, the time and all that stuff. Like, there's certain like context clues that are presented, so that way there's, you know, I'm not just talking straight here. So, but I want minimal edits, because I really like this one-on-one where it's like, okay, I'm just explaining my day, and just going to the next, you know. So it's been interesting, and I really do think that this video series itself might just be the manifestation of this culmination of the series. I have no clue yet, obviously, but I will start putting out these videos starting next month, I think, because I asked ChatGPT, and you'll notice that for a lot of things I will ask ChatGPT. It's just intellectually smarter, okay? But I asked ChatGPT, this is what I asked it. I said, do you think it makes sense to put out these videos even though I haven't made it yet? Obviously, at this point today, I still haven't made it yet, but I have a feeling that something's going to kick in, and it's just going to go fast from there. I don't know when, I don't know how. Maybe it's just a video series. I have no clue. But I have a feeling that eventually, within the next year or so, things are going to get so much better. I know that's optimistic because I've said that so many times before. But I do think that things are going to get a lot better, and things are going to be very interesting from here on out. So with that being said, next month you should hear from me about the movie bot project. I haven't heard back from Ryan yet about that, but I know that that's also another opportunity that I probably have in the future as well. So with that, longest video I've ever made so far, and take it easy, guys. I'm going.
So if you thought the video was good, please give it a like and share. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of the story unfold. This project is so close to my heart, and your support keeps it going. Thanks so much. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time in the archives of a Shiba Millionaire.
Consistency of work. Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better. You do that over a period of time, not like 1 month or 2 months. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then you can get to where you want to go.